Hey, welcome to another tutorial. So within our previous videos up to now, we've sort of looked at sort of the breakdown of materials and the different parameters that make them up. In this one, we're just going to look at the effects of some of the nodes that we can sort of plug into the materials. So I'm going to opt for a sort of a real-time rendering sort of view in this one. So I'm going to use Alt W here on this. What we're going to do is we're going to just create a plane. I'm just going to drag this out. So holding control, left click and drag that out. I'm going to do a high quality view on this. I'm going to press M on the keyboard and drag a material onto this. What we're going to do is change the material to a PBR. We'll do the gloss one. That'll be good. And we can have a look. In addition to that, what we'll do is we'll just quickly set up a standard light, and we'll have a skylight just placed in the scene. Now, the reason I've opted to do it in real time with the PBR is just so we can see the updates a little bit quicker. And if you want to follow along, you can sort of follow along and so do the update. So the first one, let's have a look here on sort of a base color. Now, all the materials are going to have a base color that you can import texture information in. So if we select that, you'll see that you've got a bunch of different sort of map types and values that you can sort of use inside the material map browser. Okay, so there are some useful ones. There's some that maybe you won't find as useful, but there are a few that are quite useful. And that's the sort of aims of these videos, just to take you through some of these bits and bobs. So the first one's the noise itself. So if we click noise and we add this to our material, I'm just going to make sure that's dragged on here and dropped on, so you can see now it's loaded. Yeah, you'll see a representation of our noise. Now, each of the maps, what I'm going to do is I'll bring up the map browser as well, just so we've got a good view of how this is working. So I can flick between these now. So each sort of whether it's a sort of a base color or whatever you're plugging in, so in our case it's noise, it will have a set of parameters that you can use inside the material, inside that material. So you can see here where we've got the parameters for scale. So if we sort of move this, let's increase it quite much, we'll see that it updates the scale. So this is actually the pixelated information that's gonna sort of upscale or descale or do different things. And again, with noise, there's different sort of variants that you can have. There's different sort of again, you've got different types here, I suppose. Whether you want things simple, paralleling, whoops. Again, you can sort of come through and descale or scale them. I'm just going to check to make sure. I think this is manual update. Should update for me. Okay. Seems to be updating. I want it real time updates, but doing it at the minute. Maybe it's because I've got OBS on or something like that. But yeah, basically each parameter that you have, each thing that you do, you plug in here. Now, noise is very good for a whole bunch of different reasons. You can do a lot with it at sort of the sort of micro level, or you can do quite large things where you get like these nice soft effects. Now, if we were to take this map and we were actually going to utilize it, you can actually utilize these in sort of opacity maps or things like that. So let's just have a look, and you can see here where it attempts to create a nice opacity map. Let's cancel that. I'm just going to hold Control Shift just to double click this. Let's put another material on underneath. And you can see now, I'm going to make sure as well we've got a PBR in here. So we've got that, but you can see there where we're getting some nice sort of detail coming through. Let's just change the color of this. Yeah, look at that. So you can create sort of like these sort of, I suppose, cloud effects or effects that are going to be in the scene or on an object, and you can plug these in and use different types of things. And again, maybe it's for a mission. I don't think it'll work too well with the emission map because it needs a color, so it's not great. But you can use these different sort of map types. Let's just bring this back to. So I'm just going to use swap and just plug it back in here, and you'll see that the noise, the coloration or the color that's applied to the noise is based on the base color albedo in this case. And this is the same as well inside of physical material, same sort of thing that you get. Okay, so with that, I mean that's noise. There's different types of noise that you can get as well. So let's have a look at the more organic type noise. So the organic type noise, this is very effective for sort of like with the I suppose the presets and stuff in here. So there's a bunch of different presets that you've got in here that you can take advantage of. And to load, so you can see there where this one's quite noisy. You got a lot of different stuff in there. You can change the sample amount. You can increase. There's a lot of settings here that you can play with and sort of increase. There's different ones. I've just grabbed a random one there. There's different types in here like presets and stuff. So plastic bump type noise, pretty good. Let's see. I think plasma is pretty good as well. So you got that plasma sort of effects there. Maybe lava or something. Maybe we're looking to make a bit of lava or something like that. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different parameters that you can sort of access. Perhaps like UVs. If you want to do the UVs in here, this will upscale it. So again, we'll do something a bit stronger, so like 40. There you go. You've got like different effects that you can create. In addition to that, let's go back into here. Let's clear this out and let's have a look at some of the others. Now, in some cases, you might well find yourself. Let's just move this value back down here. You might find yourself like with the PBRs, you need an opacity, or you've got to add opacity to this because we haven't got the translucent set attached to it. So what you would do is you could use in here in the map browser. What we could do is we could use a color. I believe it's a value, so color value. Add that, and so you get a color value in here. And then what you can do is you change this to a black and white value. And you can already see there where, let's pop our background up. You can see there where this is now becoming transparent. If we did that in the viewport, see that transparency taking effect there. Pretty good. And then you can control it via here. Now, not too dissimilar. You can actually use maps again on that. So we did that before where we used an actual map in there, but you can control things. So if there's things like glossiness or something that you prefer to control through a map type, you can actually plug them in. Other useful ones that you might find, there should be a gradient in here as well. Let's have a look at the gradient. And this is just to black and white. Perhaps what I need to do is just remove this here. You should see that we can get a gradient. There you go. So we get like a nice gradient effect from black to white there. You can control these. So again, do that way. You can also put maps in here as well. So with the gradient, what you can do is you can click sort of on here, and what we can do is let's maybe put some noise in, and then you'll see the effects of this now. Here, just give it a second to load. Definitely think this has got OBJ on, OBS, and there you go. Look at that gradient now. That looks awesome. Getting like a much softer gradient. Combine this with some normal maps and stuff. Maybe you create some really good effects in here. Now with this, you can see with the colors actually gone from the noise itself. So we haven't actually got the color within this particular noise that we're so perhaps we'd have to do a different way, maybe through color variation or something, or a color value node. But nonetheless, yeah, still pretty good results. There's also see checkered pattern. So the checkered pattern is really good for when you're testing your sort of like density of or your texel density. So when you've unwrapped things and you're sort of modeling, often people use this one and sort of put it onto the models to check the checkered pattern, check the texel density. Then you can do the values here. Maybe you want to create a chessboard or something, but yeah, you've got that option there. Let's see. So in addition to that, yeah, you've got the fall off as well. So the fall off's not too dissimilar to the gradients. This one's a central gradient, and you've got the fall off sort of parameters. So you should be able to turn these down a bit or increase them. 100 should affect it. And sort of update. Got the curve map down here as well. Again, you can sort of affect things. You can invert them. Should invert. Perhaps the UVs are not quite adding up for me. But you can definitely see it on sort of here as well with that inversion there where on there. So looking for those dots. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then yeah, you've got the sort of curve chart here where you can sort of mess with, see the values that in terms of how it's going to be or that value to be. So you can it's quite sharp now. Yeah, we'll come back to it. But that's a different one. Again, you've got dents as well. So perhaps we want dents in here, or the effect of them. So definitely add that in. And yeah, there's just a bunch of them. Now, it's a little bit difficult to go through them all and where we need them without a context. So what I would suggest in sort of this video now is for yourselves to sort of explore sort of the different sort of parameters in here and how you might think you want to use them. There are a bunch of different types. So this one again, tiles. If you want to do sort of tiles and stuff like that, you can do that. Don't forget as well, you've got like displacement mapping as well, which will push and pull the geometry about. So we can apply tessellation and get the materials really pushing and pulling these meshes about. So there's a lot really we can sort of do with this. But I think rather than go through each individual one, without a context, I think what it'd be worth you doing just before we jump out of the video is it'd be worth setting you a task just to come through and sort of have a look and sort of like mess around with a few of these sort of nodes and see what you create. And again, there's lots of different things you can do. See here where I'm messing about with this one. So there's a lot of different things that you can sort of create, add. That's trying to create a smoke effect on there. And yeah, there's some are more useful than others. But in here you'll get a lot of this stuff. There's also different things. You've got like environment textures. We've got things that will sort of clamp together, or when you're building sort of like custom materials and stuff. We've got certain things in here for again building or converting things together. So what I would say with some of these, this is where the sort of slate material editor is quite good in terms of being able to visualize where all these are being plugged into, what values are being clamped, and sort of getting through each of these. But yeah, have a go, have a little look at those map types. The main ones are sort of like noise, I suppose. Have a little play around with those settings, see what you can come up with, and I will see you in the next video.